Hi everybody! So I have to tell you, every now and then I get accused of worshipping the evil alien overlord that is 3D printing. But I can't tell you enough how far that is from the truth. I don't really care about 3D printing and 3D printers. What I see them as is a tool to help us create. And that's how I look at them, and that's how I deal with them. Now, of course, if you want to use a tool well, you do learn about it. I mean, if you enjoy using it, you're going to learn anyway. So learning will go on, and that kind of experience will improve what you're doing. But this is not an altar at which I worship. It is something I use to create. Now, you might be interested in something we've been making on the channel, and you might well have seen it, and that is what I'm calling the windstalk. Now, the windstalk is a kind of combination between the Seiko Magic winding mechanism, a freewheel mechanism, and a generator. And we did a video on it where we tried it out, and it has great promise. It looked like it worked really well. I mean, it was the first try, so of course there were things that were wrong with it, and I wanted to have a look at that mechanism, and I came up with what I think is an improvement, which is this here. Now, what I've really done is combine everything so that the springs that we used are now actually incorporated into the pivot point. So the pivot point has a spring incorporated, so as it waves backwards and forwards, we don't need supports and we don't need the rubber band and all that sort of stuff. And to operate it, what we've got on the edge here is a Scotch yoke, and the Scotch yoke is able to turn that rotation into a push. So as the wind blows it, of course, it turns the ratchet. If I get the ratchet engaged properly, there we go. So the wind blows it, that ratchet will turn. So I loved that idea. Now, you can see that it still needs a bit of improvement, things like plates on it to hold everything together. And the whole reason I'm talking about this is not to talk about this, but I designed and printed that mechanism. The print time was 47 minutes. Now, I used this machine here, so it did belt along at a rate of knots. But 47 minutes is, well, colour me impressed kind of stuff. It's the kind of stuff where all of a sudden that old adage of, yeah, 3D printers are great, but they take longer and you could make it by hand, is, well, it's disappearing. It's time to take that for a very long walk off a very short pier, because I couldn't make that with the best will in the world. I could not make this by hand in 47 minutes, but I can print it in 47 minutes courtesy of this printer. So these 3D printers are coming an awful long way, and it's no surprise with the growth in interest in them, the growth of manufacture of them, how much competition there now is in the market to produce better and better printers, that they are overtaking what they ever used to be. I mean, once upon a time they were really cronky and you did have to worship them. Now they're the kind of thing where you can pull it out of the box, and in 20 minutes of stabbing at it with your fat stubby fingers like mine, you can get it going. One of the things that people are often worried about is the software. The software itself has come a long way. It's one of those things now where a 9-year-old is able to use it just by opening the book and having a look. So it's one of those things where if you are into 3D printing, boy, are you at the edge of the curve. If you aren't into 3D printing because you're frightened of it, or you're worried about it, or you don't want to spend the time learning about it, then that has all been reduced. It's now much easier to pick these things up and be able to produce something where the rate of production is astonishingly quicker than you can do it by hand. It's not only that I would need more time to do this by hand, I'd also need a shed load of tools. All I really need to do that now is this thing here sat in my study, because this is really quiet as well. It's about 40 or 50, maybe 60 decibels, but really quiet when it sits there running, and stupendously fast. I mean, really, I saw that print time and I thought, wow, that is incredible, which is what I wanted to share with you. So I didn't really particularly want to share the improvement on the windstalk. I wanted to share the improvement in the time these things take to print. I had no real conception, to be honest, of how fast that would be, and it really did knock my socks off. So I wanted to share it with you. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember to like and subscribe.